Today we have much ado about nothing. That's right, today is National Nothing Day. I'm being serious. It was a day created so we could have a day of celebrating or observing absolutely nothing, which seems like a contradiction because we're actually celebrating nothing, right? I don't know. So what is nothing? Well, it's kind of difficult to wrap your head around it when you really start to think about it. The ancient Greeks had no concept of zero and hated the idea so much they refused to incorporate zero into their number system, even when their astronomical calculations called for it. I don't like zero either, except at the end of checks. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I want you to take a second and think about nothing. Close your eyes, picture it in your mind, focus on nothing. It's pretty hard, isn't it? I can't do it. That's probably why I can't sleep, actually. Instead, let's just consider the vast spaces between stars and galaxies, or the gaps between atoms and other microscopic particles. When we talk about nothing in the vast reaches between space, it's not actually technically nothing. There's something there. And that brings us to discussing quantum physics. And although I'm totally on board with the law of attraction and The Secret, that's as far as I can go. So let's keep it real basic, okay? Now stay with me here. Number one, if something is something, it is definitely not nothing. Number two, everything is something. Number three, therefore nothing is nothing. So there's no such thing as nothing in existence. By definition, nothing can't exist because there's nothing to exist. Okay, so all of this is making my mind spin. So let's switch gears and learn some random facts about nothing, which we now actually know means something, to continue our celebration of Nothing Day. Did you know that the average person produces enough saliva in their lifetime to fill 2 swimming pools? That's pretty gross. Even though Fruit Loops are all different colors, they all have exactly the same taste. People with blue eyes have a higher tolerance to alcohol. I'm surprised I don't have blue eyes. Hunting unicorns is legal in Michigan, which would make the people of Scotland super unhappy because it's their national animal. Did you know where we got the word alphabet from? The first 2 letters of the Greek alphabet, alpha and beta. Seriously, mind blown right there. China censored the word for censorship. You know that blob of toothpaste that sits on your toothbrush? That has a name. It's called a nurdle. Last year, more people were killed from injuries caused by taking a selfie than by shark attacks. Approximately 10 to 20% of US power outages are caused by squirrels. Honeybees can recognize human faces, so be nice to honeybees. Nearly 3% of the ice in the Antarctic glaciers is penguin urine. A small child could swim through the veins of a blue whale. Have you ever wondered why your stomach doesn't digest itself? That's because your stomach cells are created faster than they could be destroyed. Ronald McDonald is called Donald McDonald in Japan because it's easier to pronounce. Oh, and by the way, there's a McDonald's on every continent except Antarctica. Out of the millions of creatures on Earth, there are only 3 species that can laugh. One is obviously humans, chimpanzees, and rats. You ever see a laughing rat? I think I'd be scared. The medical name for a butt crack is an intergluteal cleft. A single queen ant can live up to 29 years. And speaking of ants, for every human on Earth, there are 1.6 million ants. The total weight of all those ants, however, is about the same as all the humans. Now that is everything you ever didn't want to know about ants. Remember Mr. Potato Head? That was the first toy to be advertised on TV. The human eye is so sensitive that if the Earth was flat, and some people think it is, and it was a dark night, a single candle flame could be seen from 30 miles away. You know why we call redheads redheads and not orange heads, which is kind of truer to the color that their hair actually is? Because the word orange didn't even exist until after the fruit first hit the British shores, and people had red hair way before that. Hey, you can't sneeze with your eyes open. I've tried. And that means if you're driving a car 60 miles an hour and you sneeze, your eyes are closed for almost 50 feet. Another sneezing fact is that you do not sneeze in your sleep because your brain shuts down that reflex. You might want to steal some catnip in the summertime from your little Whiskers the cat because catnip is more effective at repelling mosquitoes than DEET is. Crystal the monkey from The Hangover 2 has her own IMDb page, and I don't. Artist Salvador Dali would often get out of paying for drinks and meals by drawing on checks, making them priceless works of art that no one wanted to cash. Did you know surgeons who play video games make 37% fewer errors than the ones who don't? The word almost is the longest word in the English language to have all of its letters in alphabetical order. You know the term deadline? That comes from the Civil War. Prisoners would have lines drawn around them in the dirt, and if they crossed that line, they'd be executed by the guards. To hang 10 in surfing means to have all 10 of your toes hanging over the edge of the board when riding a wave. It's a crazy fact. In 1980, the average cost of a gigabyte of storage was $437,500. But in the year 2000, it dropped to $44. And by last year, 2 cents. Hooray for technology. You know when you meet someone, you shake their hand? Well, that was originally meant to make sure that the person you were meeting wasn't carrying a concealed weapon. That hand clasp proved that your hand was empty, and shaking was meant to dislodge any weapons that were hiding up your sleeve. Women have twice as many pain receptors on their body as men, but a much higher pain tolerance. Go figure. If you keep a goldfish in a dark room, it's eventually going to turn pale. Do you know you can't hum while holding your nose? You can't, and I know you're trying it right now. Something very sad. 2/3 of the people on Earth have never even seen snow. Earth is the only planet not named after a god. And speaking of planets, on Jupiter and Saturn, it rains diamonds. Does your dog have a spiked dog collar? Well, that was originally invented in ancient Greece to protect dogs' throats from wolves. Anything a duckling meets within 10 minutes after it's born becomes its parents. I want a little baby duck. Less than 5% of our oceans have been explored by humans, meaning we have no idea what kind of monsters could be living down there. Here's something crazy. There are colors that humans can't see, and you can't even imagine what they look like. Back in the 1800s, people used to say prunes instead of cheese when having their picture taken. So that's why I ended up with pictures like this. Not pretty. I think that was the original duck lip though. Go is the shortest complete sentence in the English language, and that's my cue to be done with this video and go. So if you know any crazy facts to add to my list, tell me in the comment section below. I'd love to hear them. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you soon. Bye.